When you're an extra, all you really have to do is stand there and not look distractingly pretty or animated or otherwise out of place. That doesn't always go as planned, and aspiring actors have ruined many great scenes by not knowing their role. Here are a few moments that have been totally ruined by a scene-stealing extra.
What the hell are you doing?
Everything must go. In this serious scene from Everything Must Go, 2 adults are talking on a porch while 2 children sit on the lawn. Something must have happened between takes, because it seems like those kids were told to sit quietly and not be distracting. Being kids, it looks like they took their instructions a bit too seriously. They're not even moving. For the record, this is not a composite shot. Those kids are actually just holding perfectly still. They worked so hard to not distract the audience that they ended up doing just that. Can't fault them for trying, though. Quantum of Solace. We know that Quantum of Solace was made during the writer's strike, but there's no excuse for this extra. If you look closely, you'll see that the guy with the broom either never learned how to sweep, or he knows something we all don't. There's no reason why his broom would be so high above the ground. Perhaps he thought since he wasn't getting paid to sweep, he didn't actually have to. He ends up drawing precious attention away from James Bond, which is just plain wrong. Planet of the Apes. If you've ever fought an ape, you probably lost because they're super strong. If you haven't, don't. Once again, because they're super strong. One extra from the original Planet of the Apes clearly didn't know that apes are super strong. As the other angry apes chuck fruits and vegetables at Charlton Heston, this guy couldn't be bothered. He tosses his veggie in a bored, limp-wristed, and totally ineffective way. Since the produce was probably made out of foam, there's no way this actor was worried about actually hurting Heston. Either this was a troll having a laugh, or someone needs to stop skipping wrist day at the gym. Goodfellas. It's clear that in this scene from Goodfellas, the one extra who had the privilege of sitting just over Robert De Niro's shoulder was explicitly told not to look at the camera. In every shot, this man turns his head to look in a different direction, looking anywhere but down the lens.
I say to you, don't think about elephants. What are you thinking about?
Elephants.
This poor extra is making every possible effort to look away from the camera, when it seems like that's all he wants to do. Don't give in, hungry man. Braveheart. Telling the tale of the legendary William Wallace, Braveheart is full of epic battles across sweeping, beautiful landscapes. Hundreds of extras were required to give it their all as Wallace's fearless, passionate army fighting for their homeland. But one extra must have missed that memo. Dressed in orange, you can clearly see him attempt a lunge at his opponent with all the energy of an exhausted retail worker at the end of their shift. We get it, battles are hard, and a soldier's bound to get tired, but you'd think the director could have hidden this extra better instead of putting him in plain sight. The Return of the Musketeers. When you're an extra, you should always do your best to keep your cool, regardless of how epic the scene around you is. You should be engaged in the action, but not overtly so. Basically, you should do the opposite of what these 2 extras did in The Return of the Musketeers. When a musketeer shows off a treasure chest full of loot, the man and woman just over his shoulder start pulling faces like crazy. The man grinning like a maniac while the woman struggles to stay in frame, perhaps so she could have some footage to use in her reel. While she eventually gives up, the man's crazy mugging continues. Since this is clearly his only 15 seconds of fame, you can almost sympathize with him. Dunkirk. It's tough to bring levity to a World War II movie, but one Dunkirk extra did his best. This shot features a group of Allied soldiers looking up at an incoming squadron, but check out the soldier to the right. He doesn't look like an army is flying in to kill him. His smirk and sleepy eyes suggest he's more like a baked college kid than a soldier fearing for his life. Does one extra reacting to a Nazi invasion like it's some mediocre air show ruin Dunkirk? Hardly. But it does make you wonder how that footage made the trailer, let alone the final film. Robocop 2. One extra in Robocop 2 was doing so well until he wasn't. That is, he did what he was supposed to do, only he forgot to stop. This extra was one of dozens booing and jeering at a man taking a stand. The man eventually headed back to his seat, but our extra wasn't done. He kept on shouting and angrily gesturing for the man to sit down, like a parent who still yells at their kid after putting them in timeout.
Shame! Shame!
Perhaps he thought he was being dramatic, but he ended up just looking silly. He clearly was going back to his seat. You really didn't have to keep waving your arm like that. Thanks for watching. Click the Grunge icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.